Imagine a country smaller than the U.S. state of Oregon, yet packed with a history as rich and diverse as the continents themselves. Welcome to the United Kingdom. Nestled into the northwestern coast of mainland Europe, the United Kingdom, or the UK as it's commonly known, is a fascinating blend of four distinct countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Despite its relatively small size, just over 93,000 square miles, the UK punches way above its weight in terms of influence. Let's put this into perspective. The UK is only about 2/3 the size of the state of California, and a little smaller than the state of Oregon. That's right, the entirety of the United Kingdom could fit into just one of America's 50 states. Yet, this tiny island nation has had a massive impact on world history, culture, and politics. From the Industrial Revolution, which transformed the world's economy, to the English language, which now serves as a global lingua franca, the UK's contributions are significant and far-reaching. It's the birthplace of Shakespeare, the Beatles, and the World Wide Web, just to name a few. And let's not even get started on its political influence. The British Empire, at its height, was the largest empire in history, covering a quarter of the Earth's total land area. Even today, the UK remains a major global player, as one of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. Interestingly, the UK is also one of the most densely populated countries in the world. With a population of over 66 million, that's almost 3/4 the population of the entire United States, crammed into a space smaller than Oregon. But don't be fooled by its modest size. The UK is a land of vast contrasts, with bustling cities, quaint villages, rugged highlands, and serene coastlines. Each corner of the UK has its unique character, traditions, and accents, adding to its charm and allure. So, despite being a compact island nation, never underestimate the United Kingdom's sizable influence. Did you know that all unmarked mute swans in England are considered property of the Queen? Yes, you heard it right. In a law that dates back to the 12th century, it's a criminal offense to harm a swan in the United Kingdom. Now that's what we call royal protection. This fascinating law originated during the Middle Ages, when swans were a prized delicacy for banquets and feasts. Back then, owning swans was a status symbol, reserved only for the wealthy. But in the late 15th century, the Crown declared ownership of all mute swans to prevent overhunting and to protect the species. And it's not just a law in books. Every year, an age-old tradition known as swan upping takes place on the River Thames. The Queen's Swan Marker leads a flotilla of traditional rowing skiffs in a 5-day journey up the river, starting from Sunbury and ending in Abingdon. This ceremony serves to count and check the health of the swan population. Dressed in scarlet uniforms, the swan uppers shout, "All up," upon spotting a group of swans, and meticulously inspect each one for injuries. But it's not all serious business. The swan uppers engage in friendly banter and share swan-related tales, adding a dose of merriment to the mission. The event concludes with a toast to the Queen, honoring her as the official owner of all unmarked mute swans. Over time, this tradition has evolved from a culinary count to a conservation effort. Today, it's more about ensuring the well-being of these majestic birds and less about feasting on them. It's a quirky law indeed, but one that highlights the UK's commitment to wildlife protection. Remember, when in the UK, hands off the swans. They're royal property. Who wouldn't want multiple birthdays a year? Well, the Queen of England gets just that. Now, Before you start thinking of the outrageous number of candles that would be, let's clarify something. The Queen indeed celebrates 2 birthdays each year. Her real birthday on the 21st of April and her official birthday, usually on the 2nd Saturday in June. You might be wondering, why the 2 dates? The tradition dates back to 1748 during the reign of King George II. Now, George was born in November, and let's face it, British weather isn't exactly picnic-friendly that time of year. So, in a bid to have a public celebration with better weather, he decided to combine his birthday celebration with an annual military parade known as Trooping the Color. And voila, the tradition of the monarch's official summer birthday was born. Since then, British monarchs have had the option to stick with their actual birthday, or, if the weather for that day is typically British, red, rainy, and cold, they can choose a day in the summer to celebrate publicly. Now let's talk about the celebrations. The Queen's real birthday in April is a private affair, marked with little public celebration. But the official birthday in June? That's a whole different ball game. It's marked by the Grand Trooping the Colour ceremony, a parade by the British and Commonwealth armies. It's quite the spectacle, with lots of pomp, pageantry, and yes, those iconic bearskin hats that the guards wear. Interestingly, the Queen is not alone in this dual birthday tradition. Her husband, Prince Philip, also has 2 birthdays. He was born on the 10th of June, but celebrates his official birthday on the same day as the Queen. So, there you have it. The Queen's double birthdays aren't about having extra cake, though who would complain about that? They're about tradition, a nod to British history, and of course, the ever unpredictable British weather. So, if you're ever confused about the Queen's birthday, remember she's lucky enough to have 2. When you think of the UK, you might think of tea, but did you know they consume more instant coffee than tea? Indeed, the United Kingdom, known for its love of a good cuppa, surprisingly guzzles down a whole lot more instant coffee. It's a phenomenon that has puzzled many, given the country's deep-rooted tea traditions. But the numbers don't lie. Every year, the UK consumes over 95 million kilograms of instant coffee. That's about 1.5 kilos per person. That's a lot of coffee. It's enough to fill over 20 Olympic swimming pools. Now imagine diving into that. This love for instant coffee started post-World War II, when convenience took precedence. The easy, quick-fix nature of instant coffee appealed to the busy lives of Brits, and it's been a love affair ever since. Now you might be wondering, how does this compare to other countries? Well, let's take a look. The UK is actually the 3rd highest consumer of instant coffee in the world, only surpassed by Germany and Russia. In terms of per capita consumption, the Brits are in the top 10, rubbing shoulders with countries like Norway and Denmark. And what about tea? Well, tea is still a major player in the British beverage scene, but it seems the lure of quick, convenient coffee has tipped the scales in favor of the roasted bean. While tea consumption is still high, it's not quite at the level of instant coffee. So, you see, the UK's love for instant coffee is more than just a quirky fact. It's a testament to the changing tastes and habits of a nation. It's a story of convenience, of modern life, and of a love for the simple pleasures that a cup of coffee can bring. So next time you're in the UK, remember to grab a cup of instant coffee to fit right in. Pack your bags for a flight that lasts less time than it takes to read this sentence. We're talking about the shortest commercial flight in the world, a flight so brief, it almost feels like you're teleporting. It's not a gimmick, not a tourist trap. It's a genuine service that operates in the United Kingdom, specifically between two of the Orkney Islands in Scotland, Westray and Papa Westray. The Orkney Islands are a group of about 70 islands and skerries located off the northern tip of Scotland. They are home to around 21,000 people and are known for their rich history, stunning landscapes, and of course, the world's shortest commercial flight. The flight between Westray and Papa Westray is operated by Loganair, a Scottish regional airline. This flight is a lifeline for the local community, providing essential connectivity between the islands. The flight is so quick, you could blink and miss it. It's officially listed as 2 minutes, but in ideal wind conditions, it can be completed in under a minute. Yes, you heard it right, less than 60 seconds in the air. To put it into perspective, the time it took you to listen to this explanation is probably longer than the entire flight duration. Now, you might be wondering, why such a short flight? Well, the alternative is an hour-long ferry ride across often choppy waters. So, for the islanders, it's a no-brainer. This flight is not just a novelty, it's a necessity. And it's not just for the locals. Tourists, too, can experience this unique flight. Imagine the bragging rights, being able to say you've been on the world's shortest commercial flight. Plus, it's an excellent way to get a bird's-eye view of the beautiful Orkney landscape. The flight might be short, but it leaves a lasting impression, offering a unique perspective on how different life can be in the remote corners of the world. So, if you ever find yourself in Orkney, why not take a flight that lasts less time than your morning shower? In the UK, you don't have to wonder whether the chicken or the egg came first. It's the egg. In the realm of grocery shopping, the United Kingdom has a unique approach when it comes to the humble egg. While many countries, like the United States, mandate that all eggs sold must be washed before they hit the supermarket shelves, the UK adopts a different stance. They insist that eggs must be unwashed. Why, you might ask? Well, when an egg is laid, it has a natural protective layer known as the cuticle or bloom. This thin layer is a bird's ingenious way of keeping bacteria out of the egg, providing a sort of natural packaging that safeguards the precious cargo inside. Now, when you wash an egg, you effectively strip away this protective layer, leaving the egg vulnerable to bacterial invasion. The UK's unwashed egg law is designed to keep this protective layer intact, thereby ensuring the egg's natural defenses are preserved. On the flip side, the United States mandates washing eggs before sale. This practice aims to remove any potential contaminants from the eggshell surface, such as feces or other bacteria, which could lead to salmonella infection if ingested. After washing, the eggs are often coated with a thin layer of oil to replace the removed cuticle and provide some protection. These contrasting practices reflect different approaches to food safety and highlight the fascinating ways in which nations diverge in their handling of something as seemingly simple as an egg. So while the philosophical debate of which came first, the chicken or the egg, may continue to baffle thinkers worldwide, in the UK's grocery stores, the verdict is clear. The egg, in all its unwashed glory, undoubtedly takes precedence. But remember, this doesn't solve the age-old conundrum. It just means that in the UK, the egg gets to keep its original outfit, while in the US, it's given a fresh coat before making its public appearance. So, in the UK at least, it seems the egg definitely comes before the chicken. Did you know the UK is a melting pot of languages, with over 300 languages spoken in London alone? It's a common misconception that everyone in the United Kingdom speaks only English. But the truth is, the UK is a veritable linguistic smorgasbord, especially in its capital, London. The city is a vibrant tapestry of cultures, and this multiculturalism is reflected in the myriad of languages spoken across its boroughs. From the lilting tones of Welsh and Gaelic to the rhythmic cadence of Punjabi and Bengali, the streets of London resonate with the sounds of the world. It's not uncommon to hear Polish in the bakeries of Ealing or Turkish in the cafes of Haringey. This linguistic diversity isn't just confined to London, though. Venture up north to Scotland, and you might hear Scots and Scottish Gaelic. Hop on a ferry to Wales, and you'll likely encounter Welsh, a language that boasts some of the longest words in the world. And let's not forget the diverse range of accents and dialects within English itself, from the broad vowels of the Geordie accent in Newcastle to the melodic lilt of the Irish brogue. Each accent tells a story, each dialect a testament to the rich tapestry of British history. This linguistic diversity is a reflection of the UK's multicultural society. It's a country that has been shaped by centuries of migration, trade, and conquest. Each wave of newcomers has left its mark, enriching the country's cultural and linguistic landscape. But what does this mean for you, the traveler? Well, it means that a trip to the UK is not just a journey through space, but also through time and cultures. It's a chance to immerse yourself in a world of languages, to taste the flavors of different cultures, to hear the echoes of history in every word spoken. So, in the UK, don't be surprised if you hear more than just English on the streets. Rain, rain, and more rain. Is that what you think of when you picture the UK? Well, let's dive into the United Kingdom's drizzly reputation and unmask the truth behind this common perception. Firstly, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, the UK does have a reputation for being a rainy place. This is largely due to the country's geographical location, which places it in the path of prevailing westerly winds from the Atlantic Ocean. These winds often carry moisture-laden clouds, resulting in frequent showers and overcast skies. So, it's not entirely a myth. The UK does get its fair share of rain. But here's where things get interesting. Despite its reputation, the United Kingdom does not even make it into the top 10 list of the world's wettest countries. Shocking, isn't it? Countries like Colombia, Costa Rica, and Papua New Guinea win the crown for the highest annual rainfall. In fact, the average annual rainfall in the UK is a modest 889 millimeters, which pales in comparison to the whopping 7,679 millimeters recorded in Mawsynram, India, the wettest place on Earth. What makes the UK seem so rainy is the frequency of rainfall, rather than the volume. It's not uncommon for it to rain a little bit almost every day during certain times of the year. But these are often light showers that clear up quickly, rather than torrential downpours. So next time you're planning a trip to the UK, don't let the fear of rain stop you. Yes, you might experience a drizzle here and there, but it's unlikely you'll need to navigate through monsoon-like conditions. In fact, this rainfall is what keeps the UK beautifully green and lush. It's a key ingredient in the recipe that cooks up the classic British countryside we all love. So, while you might want to pack an umbrella for the UK, remember, it's not as rainy as you might think. Have you ever heard of black pudding or haggis? Well, in the UK, these are considered delicacies. Now, the term delicacy might conjure up images of caviar, oysters, or truffles. But in the UK, Delicacies have a more humble, yet fascinating, origin. Let's start with black pudding. Known for its rich, earthy flavor, it's a type of blood sausage made from pork blood, pork fat, and oatmeal. Yes, you heard it right, pork blood. It's traditionally served as part of a full English breakfast, adding a unique texture and taste to the plate. Then we have haggis, the national dish of Scotland. It's a savory pudding containing sheep's pluck, that's the heart, liver, and lungs, minced with onion, oatmeal, suet, spices, and salt, all encased in the animal's stomach. Before you grimace, remember that many cultures around the world have similar dishes using offal. Cooked right, haggis has a nutty, delicious flavor that's worth a try. Moving on to a less meaty but equally intriguing delicacy, the stargazy pie from Cornwall. It's a traditional fish pie, but with a twist. The heads of the fish poke out of the pie crust, appearing to gaze at the stars, hence the name. The sight might be a tad startling, but the dish is a celebration of local seafood and a testament to the Cornish sense of humor. And lastly, let's not forget about jellied eels, a classic East London dish. It's exactly what it sounds like. Chopped eels boiled in a spiced stock that's allowed to cool and set, forming a jelly. It's an acquired taste, to say the least. Now these dishes may sound unusual, even off-putting to some, but they are a part of the UK's rich culinary heritage, representing regional identities and historical traditions. Each has a story to tell, a history to share, and a unique flavor to offer. So, when in the UK, why not broaden your culinary horizons and try something new? From Royal Swans to multiple birthdays, and from instant coffee to a flight that lasts less than 2 minutes, the UK is truly a land of surprises. It's been a whirlwind journey, hasn't it? We've traversed the length and breadth of the United Kingdom, uncovering some of the most peculiar yet fascinating elements that make this nation so unique. We've explored the illusion of size, learning how the UK, in spite of its small land area, packs a colossal punch in terms of cultural heritage, natural beauty, and historical significance. We've discovered the royal decree that designates all unmarked swans in open water as belonging to the Queen, a tradition that dates back several centuries. We've celebrated the Queen's birthdays not just once, but twice a year, marking an official day in June, irrespective of the actual birth date of the reigning monarch. We've also delved into the nation's love for instant coffee, a preference that might seem a bit perplexing to the rest of the espresso-loving world. We've taken the world's shortest flight, lasting less than 2 minutes, between the islands of Westray and Papa Westray in Scotland. We've pondered the age-old question of the chicken or the egg, with a twist, as the United Kingdom legally defined a chicken egg's status. We've journeyed through the linguistic diversity of the UK, where more than 300 languages are spoken, making it a melting pot of cultures and dialects. We've also debunked the myth of the UK's rainy reputation, revealing that it's not the rainiest country in Europe, let alone the world. And lastly, we've dared to try some of the UK's unusual delicacies, from haggis in Scotland to jellied eels in East London, challenging our taste buds and enriching our culinary experiences. So, the next time you think about the UK, remember, there's more than meets the eye in this small but mighty island nation.